your guitar.
Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host, and as I had indicated before, is that as you can see, I got my cover here. It says Vietnam veteran aspect of it, and I've got a couple other veterans that are here sitting at the table. And you know that the Voters Digest is going to devote at least one show a month to begin with, and maybe even more. But we're going to make sure we dedicate at least one show a month towards veteran services and veteran affairs and issues that it relates to veterans and to the open public, those who have not served and whatever, whether you elected officials or whether you're a voter or mom or dad or cousin or whatever. It's to give you the information in terms of besides thanking you for recognizing what is the definition of a veteran, and whether or not there are folks within your reach that are looking for the services, and that's kind of like where we're coming from. So this particular show, like I said, will be about veterans and what we've done along this particular line. As you know, I've got the No Veterans Left Behind, and one of my commitments for that nonprofit was to go out and vet organizations outside of the VA and that are providing services to veterans across the board. That's what we're doing, and so consequently and besides that, inviting guests from the VA, whether it be the medical side or the education side, so that it'll kind of give you some ideas whether or not you may have somebody within your reach, whether it be a family member or a friend or whomever, who happens to be a veteran and are not getting their benefits and whatever and those services. The idea is to give you, so you can communicate that to that particular person and share with them the fact that their services are there available to them. And all they have to do is just reach out. Okay? So, on that particular note, what we're going to do today, we got Richard Carpenter, got Richard here, and Richard has in fact, I got the co-host with Richard.
Right.
He has his show, the Producers Show, right?
Right.
Producers Show, IPO, Independent Producers Organization. Second Wednesday.
Wednesday, right? And then it's on the Sunday after that at 11 o'clock.
Right.
I try to remember. It's a hard time to remember.
Yes.
I don't know why.
Yes. Okay. So Richard is here, and that I'm there with him, and we talk about a number of events. In fact, we'll give Richard an opportunity to talk about. But he's a veteran, and I want to make sure he was part of the show today, and we'll be doing that on an ongoing basis. And we'll probably be talking about. In fact, we talked about veterans on your show anyway, on some other areas.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, did you want to finish introducing?
Yeah, we'll get
okay.
No problem.
Let me tell you something else. At the end of this month, right about the time that it's the Veterans Day and all that, there'll be a 7-minute and about a 25-minute Missing in America program.
Okay.
In other words, these are to do with the veterans whose remains have just stayed in funeral homes or down in the state.
Oh, they're finally reaching out.
And now they're after a proper burial.
Oh, awesome.
For all these people.
Awesome.
And when the program just shows that in such a good form.
Right.
It's really great.
Great. Are we going to be doing a show on that? You're going to be doing something? You're going to have someone
We won't be doing a show before that is shown.
Before it's okay, good.
Before those will be up sometime on Memorial Day.
Okay, Memorial. Okay, good. So
That's
maybe
when they told me.
Maybe we can follow up on that. Find out that person, bring him on the show.
Okay.
And kind of personalize it a bit.
I can tell you for your next show.
Sounds great. Okay.
Okay.
Good. Well, now we have today with us NABVETS, National Association of Black Veterans Association, Inc. I happened to meet this gentleman. In fact, I used to know one of the commander we had there before, Brown. Was it Major Brown, right?
Yeah, Lieutenant Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel Brown. He's a very interesting guy. I knew his brother too real well. We knew one another well. And I remember when he put that organization together.
Right.
I was just as busy as ever. But the bottom line, he put that organization together, and he did a good job. He did a real good job. And as I said to you once before, I talked to Napoleon. I said to Napoleon that back in just before he passed away, about a week before he passed away, we were at an event, and that I saw him, he and his wife, and we chatted, and we were supposed to get together to do just what we're doing.
Right.
And the next thing you know, boom, he was gone. He was gone. But real beautiful guy, and you know, he did a lot bringing this organization in. So now here we have the guy who's basically replacing him. So we're still doing the show.
Yeah, so unfortunately we can't replace them, but I'm trying my best to make sure the organization still does strive.
Okay, well that's good. Well, you just got another notch there. I know you can always remind him, remind other folks or whatever. But anyway, he's gonna spend some time with us and share with us what is the organization, and talk a little bit about that. And at the same time, he is a veteran himself. And I got the other interesting thing about this gentleman, he happened to be a Marine, a former Marine. And then we got to talking, and the next thing I know, he has the same MOS I had. I had the first MOS, and it was technical by nature, but then we also had training. And within the MOS I was in, besides just doing the technical part of it, electronics, went to the same schools and this, that, and the other. But I also was part of the training component, meaning that they would come in for training at El Toro and elsewhere, and at that point there we take them in the blue boxes, in the blue boxes, and I had my point was especially was I always taught the COs. I'd been around a while, and so consequently I was the guy that taught the COs. And brought him up to pair, and so anyway. But it was very interesting. So it was kind of interesting when I met with him and we started talking. And what did we meet? Come to think about,
We met over at the Jansen Beach, the Double Tree Red Line over there.
Right. But before that, how did I get your name?
Before that,
I'd say we were going so fast there.
I know. Oh, I was referred to Good in the Hood.
Oh, the Good in the Hood.
The Good in the Hood.
Yeah,
Denise
the
from
Good in the Hood. We're going to talk a little bit about that too. But I met him, and I wanted to make sure that. So all of a sudden, I get to talking to this guy, and I said, "Gee whiz, well, that just fits right with my program, i.e., the vets, no vets left behind, and reaching out." And he's a service organization. And after I found out what he did and what he was doing, he's gonna spend the time sharing that with us. I said, "Wow, what a deal!" So we're gonna invite him over. So here he is today, and he's also participating in some other entities. He's gonna share it. So first off, why don't you just share a little bit about your background and how you got to Portland, Oregon? I.e., the Marine Corps, that kind of stuff, and here you are sitting today with Richard and I.
Yeah. So basically, about myself, I was raised in Detroit. That's my home. That's where my heart is. And basically, I started off in the military. I started off in the Army Guard, 2 years. Then I joined the Marine Corps, 10 years active duty Marines. And then ended up doing another 2 years in Air Force Reserve. So while I was down at the tech school in Mississippi, there was a job fair. And one of the local companies, tech companies, Intel, was doing hiring, etc. And fast forward, I accepted an offer from them to do research. And I came up in, I was with them for 9.5 years. And
At Intel?
At Intel.
Wow.
And I had an opportunity to get into education. So when I had a chance to go into education, I finished up my education as well. Except I still have to get my doctorate, but I finished up my education.
So you got your master's now?
Yes.
What was your major?
BA in marketing, a dual master's in international business and project management.
Oh, cool.
So basically, wanting to stay in the business field.
Yeah. Oh, good. I noticed that about him, by the way. I noticed that about him.
Yeah. So I of course we had that economic depression in 2009. So I like a lot of other people found myself unemployed, and I was looking for a job, and I went to try to make sure I had my documentation for my VA benefits, and I went down to get my VA certificate of housing so I can eventually try to get a house once I found another job.
GI Bill, yeah.
Right, and I was feeling really bad, and basically, I went to the building, the building they were at, and I was thinking, okay, after I did that paperwork, I'm a photographer, so I said maybe I can just go up to the 17th floor and take a look out the window and get some shots, that kind of thing. I get out the elevator, and I see a plaque on the wall, and it says National Association for Black Veterans. I said, well, at the very least, they'll let me look out that window
Yes.
and take some shots. So I walk around the corner, I go in the office. It's just a 2-room office. The main waiting area, there are volunteers that went home for the day. And I hear some music coming out the back. And I go in the back, and there's a gentleman sitting at the desk, and he just had folders, just all around him, folders, and he's typing on the computer, and the music is playing. I look over, there's 2 other desks, and it's full of folders, but no one was there. So I asked him, I said, well, look, my name is Napoleon. I introduced myself. I said, are you guys hiring? And he bust out laughing. And he laughed for probably about a good 2-3 minutes, and I'm standing there wondering what's going on. And he said, look, I'm really sorry. He said, we're a nonprofit. We don't have any jobs. We don't have a budget. We do this all as volunteers. And then he explained to me what they did.
Wow.
And when he explained to me what they did about helping out veterans and family members and helping them get their benefits, etc., I'd never heard of this. And I said, well, maybe I can be part of this while I'm trying to find a job. So he connected me with Colonel Brown, and I met with Colonel Brown, and basically it was Tommy Brown, the individual I was talking to.
Right.
And he connected me to Colonel Brown, and they just kind of welcomed me into the family, and I decided to come on as their marketing director to try to get some more exposure. I figured if I never heard of them, maybe some other people never heard of them.
Right.
So I started doing marketing for them, and we moved forward from there.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. And so you joined that group that basically had this statement here that I noticed also, too. I got really excited about that piece. Was that, and I'll read this statement real quick, and then you can follow up on this piece. It says, since we started in 2006, right, working primarily with 3 part-time volunteer veteran service officers and other volunteers to assist with administrative duties, putting that paperwork together, NAPVETS Portland has been able to bring well over $20 million
Yeah,
to the Portland, Oregon metro area.
wonder how they do that.
Boy, that's a lot of
see.
money. And these are benefits,
Yeah,
right?
these are benefits. Basically, we would go and fight for the benefits. No, you earn your benefits through your military service. And unfortunately, a lot of people aren't even aware that they have them. They've been injured or
Right.
they suffered some type of trauma.
Right.
And you earn these benefits. So what we do, we file the paperwork for them.
Right.
And right now, the VA situation is so frustrating that a lot of times people get turned down and they will just get annoyed, ticked off, and just walk away. So what we do, we file the paperwork for them, and we're the buffer between them and the VA.
Yes, right.
That way, when they say no, okay, we file a notice of disagreement. If they tell us no again, we file another notice and tell them why. And we keep on moving the chains until finally, if it gets to a point, we'll say, okay, we request a hearing before a judge. And then we have an opportunity to either be physically with a judge or have a video conference with the judge. And they have been very good at listening to the veterans. And so if it goes to that point, we go to that. But we just try to take the frustration out so that you can, with the sacrifices you made with your service, I mean, your time, your energy, your family,
Right.
parts of your body, your mind, we want to make sure that at the very least, if you have benefits, you should get the benefits. So that's where we come in.
And most of these guys are veterans, right?
Yes.
Yeah, they're all veterans.
Yes.
And that's another key component, because a lot of times veterans who have served in the war, if you will, don't like to talk about those historical
No.
moments, if you will.
Yeah.
No, it's very difficult, and we understand that. And Colonel Brown was, he had came back home to Portland, and he was a lieutenant colonel. He was used to bureaucracy and paperwork, and he found out about NAPVETS up in Washington. He called them, asked for their chapter in Oregon that I could work with, so that maybe I can get my benefits settled, etc. And said, well, no, would you like to start one? And being the person that he was, he said yes.
Yeah.
And so he put together that initial crew, the 4 volunteer VSOs, and the admin people that would come to office and support, do paperwork, filing, answer phones, etc. And them working part-time, and with the admin support that they had, they were able to do that remarkable feat of bringing in all that money to the area.
Wow.
And
Wow.
see, they were exceptional. These people were exceptional because they were lucky enough to be financially set at the time to be able to volunteer their time.
They weren't getting paid.
No, they weren't getting
Volunteers.
paid.
I
so-
remember that. In fact, that's when he interviewed here. He was marketing on his own. I interviewed him when he first kind of started. so to
Right,
speak.
right.
You know what I'm saying? But like you said, he's very persistent. And he found that office. It was downtown Portland, right?
Yes.
The office is still there.
Yes, managed to get us into the office, and when we were at the first federal building, we were on the 17th floor. Everybody
Right.
else was
Yep, I remember
down
that.
on the other floors,
Yes.
and they used to ask, "How did you get the penthouse?"
Yep. Well, he's
Yeah.
well, those Browns are pretty persistent.
Yes,
I'm
so-
telling you. We got a brother named John Brown, and John's an entrepreneur in his own rights aspect of it. I think John is back east or something like that, but that was his brother. And but again, they were very persistent kind of a family. You know what I mean? About getting things done, and professionally. You know,
Yeah,
very
see,
good
so
people.
I, if you don't mind, I'd like to just mention that my name. We had Colonel Brown, Linnell Brown. We had Thomas Brown, he was a former Marine as well. And Staff Sergeant First Class William Woods. And then we had our main admin people were Cleveland McCord and also Dwayne Gardner. And we also had Ron Webb. So these were the people that were there day in
So
and
Ron
day
was
out.
a VSO officer too.
No, Ron. He was a part of the outreach team.
Yeah, he's
and
a
he
talker.
answered. Yes, he answered the phone. And I could count on when I took over the outreach.
Right.
I could count on Ron to be anywhere that he needed to
Yeah,
be.
Ron's good people,
and he
yeah.
was there. Whether he rode a bike or whether he
Yeah.
rode the bus, he would be there.
Yes.
So he's missed as well.
Yeah, I think at that one point in time, Ron worked at Channel 6 or 2.
He did tell me that.
Yeah, he worked at Channel 6. Yeah, he was a cameraman, on the floor cameraman at Channel 6. Very, very neat guy. Very talkative kind of a guy. Really, really neat guy. And that since he's passed away.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, he passed away not too long ago, about a year.
He passed away in July of last year.
Yeah, last year, right.
And then
right.
10 days later, we lost Colonel Brown.
Yep, going around. Wow, boy, that was pretty heavy.
Yes.
Well, tell me a little bit more about what does other things that NAVVETS do.
So besides the VA side with the benefits and the medical care, et cetera, we also have a nonprofit side. And through our partnerships and just basically passing the hat among our members, we're able to help people find jobs, food, clothing, housing. And during different parts of the year, we have toys for the children at Christmas time. And
Wow.
we volunteer at the air shows to bring money in. So we have a complete nonprofit side. And what we're doing, we have a lot of programs that we like to get started. We just don't have the funding to get them off the ground just
I
yet.
got you.
See, so we tell people, basically, if you get past the name, National Association for Black Veterans, we help anyone who walks through the door. And our membership is composed of not just black veterans. We have, veterans of all stripes. We also have non-veteran members. We call them military supporters. And basically, if you support the military, we welcome you into the group.
Yeah, good. Okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. 'Cause I was going to ask you, what was that in terms of the origin? Where the origin was from back east,
Well, yes, it started off in the late 60s.
late 60s.
When the gentlemen were coming back from Vietnam, they didn't have anyone who was engaged enough to help the black veterans. So basically, they said they'll start their own organization. So from those beginnings, we've grown to an organization that's in every state, including and also Puerto Rico, and we've grown enough where, like I say, as volunteers, we've gotten so good at what we do that people who get paid for that send people over to us. And our local office, we get calls from all across the country, and we get walk-ins from everywhere, and emails, etc. So right now, with the losses that we had over the last year, we're very short-staffed, but we're still continuing to move. It's just basically we're doing what we can, but we're trying to make sure that the organization survives in order to keep on helping people like we've been doing.
Right. Well, I think that one of the very unique things about the organization is that it's military. Because there are other entities that do this same thing about paperwork. Lawyers, I know that lawyers do this work, kind of a deal. They charge you a fee,
Right.
pretty hefty fee. I think is the first check you get, so to speak. That's that end of it. And then the VA has an entity that does that. That's the VFW, the Veterans of Foreign War. They've got the contract with the VA in their various medical centers, so to speak, and like the one we have here in Portland on the Hill, they call it, aspect of it. They fill out the paperwork too. These are paid folks, i.e., by the VFW.
Right, and see, we are, like I say, we have unpaid individuals who are volunteering, and looking forward, since we've experienced the losses that we experienced between 2018 and now.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never been to so many funerals in my life, but it made me think. Pretty soon, these gentlemen, they're going to be gone. We need to make sure that we bring people in who can do the same job. Unfortunately, we're having difficulty finding people who are set to be able to do it for free.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons I'm looking for funding, so that we can pay people to be there, pay them enough to be there, pay for the medical care, and the organization continue, just like any other nonprofit.
Right. But better yet is that there's a lot of veterans out there that those services are there for them, but there's no outreach. Right. And again, that's why I've done I'm the marketing to get the information out, just like we're doing it right now. But if you got an entity that knows how to put the paperwork together, that's been one of the things I've been having issues with, because I've gone to the VA and I've talked to folks there, aspect of it, but they don't have that, that knowledge piece that really just carries folks right across the deal, because a lot of times people wonder they're VFW, but then a lot of times they have just regular individuals that are just working for the VFW.
Right.
See what I mean?
Yeah,
Just as veteran of foreign war. Normally you have to be associated as a military, but you can be just a non-military too, aspect of it. But it was kind of neat to be able to find someone. Naturally, I was impressed when I saw that $20 million. See, because I know that there's no office here within the area that has done that volume of work.
And see, we are basically, we just put our heads down and work, and we feel that we're here to try to help the veterans who don't have anyone to speak for them, or haven't had the right person to speak for them. That's what we're looking to do.
I got you.
Take care of them that way.
I got you. So okay, so consequently, you're looking for fundraising. You're a nonprofit, right?
Right.
You're nonprofit.
We are 501c3 nonprofit.
501c3. And how do they contact you?
So I would like for them to go ahead and contact our office. That would be the easiest way.
Okay.
Our phone number, and I'm going to put it out there, is a 503-412-4159. No one picks up, leave a voicemail, and basically we'll get back to you, because we are looking. I told my membership, right now I'm the current commander/executive director, and I told our membership, in order to achieve what we need to achieve, I'm going to be looking for funding, and I'm going to look for any type of legal funding that we can have, because basically we don't want to make sure that when we do receive funding, it doesn't get taken away because there was something wrong with it. But also, we have individuals who are looking to see where they can contribute. So we invite you to contribute to us as well. We're going to apply for funding just like everybody else. We're not looking for handouts, but if you want to give us a handout, we'll take it.
That's good. I noticed that I went to your first meeting. I went to that first meeting the other night.
Right.
That you guys had. It was quite a turnout.
Yes.
That was kind of a very interesting turnout. So some of the folks I sort of knew. One of the guys that was there, that everyone, his name always pops up because he's out there publicly quite a bit. He's since retired, but he's still acting. That's Paul Knowles, and he used to own the local restaurant here in Geneva's, and everybody pretty well knew that. Well, were the old timers, so to speak. But he's still kicking. His son is kind of like taking care of him, so to speak.
Yes.
But he's still there. But he really enjoyed being there. You know what I mean? And the camaraderie. I saw that when you think of all those guys that were there were all former military, and then the young lady was she was military.
She former military.
So all of them were military aspect of it, and it was surprising the MOSs that were there. I was a surprise that was there. And
we have full spectrum from the combat, grunts, to the highly technical people, to the admin, supply, etc.
Yes.
And also, we did have members there that were associate members who were not in the military, but they supported us.
Right.
And, for example, I'm not going to mention her name because I don't know if she wants me to that, because she likes to contribute and stay behind the scenes. But you and her got into a lively discussion about some of the marketing.
No, you can always mention her name.
Okay, so...
Go on and mention Shirley Minor.
Yeah, so Shirley
Everybody
Minor,
knows Shirley.
Yeah, so...
Shirley's...
And see, you mentioned that about everybody knowing people. I found it quite remarkable that no matter where our organization goes for our public speaking events, our outreach events, our stand downs,
Right.
these people, someone can walk up to them and they know not only their family, they
Yeah.
know the kids,
That's
they know
right.
the uncles, the
Right.
husband,
Right.
etc.
Yeah, really.
Right.
It just always amazes me because it's been a long time since I've been near my family in Detroit, and these people are connected.
Well, they're connected, and they're major contributors to the community. You know what I mean? And when in fact, it sort of surprised me when I saw some of the guys that were there, that I didn't realize that when they were in the military. And then when I started listening and hearing them about, they're sharing about their MOSs, there was a submariner there.
Yes.
And you know, I thought about the movie about the guy who was doing underwater demolition or whatever. He was a scuba diver. Well, not scuba diver, but what do you call it?
Yeah, it was the underwater diver.
Diver.
Yeah, our gentleman's name is Reggie Seal.
Reggie Seal.
And he was a groundbreaker in his own right. And he's one of the individuals I would love to make sure that he had an opportunity to tell his story.
Yes.
Because I've taken him to, or rather, he's accompanied NAVETS to outreach events, like, for example, Clackamas Community College.
Yes.
He spoke and he basically commanded the room. The kids are listening to him.
Oh, sure, he's sharp.
People walking by, and he has a remarkable story.
Yes.
And I'm going to let him, when I get the chance, he's going to tell it.
Oh, no,
and you will be quite impressed
Well,
with that.
one of the things I'm gonna get Richard involved in the process too. But one of the other things that we're looking at, and I've told Richard about this, and that is, I was trying to establish a speakers bureau. So doing Veterans Day aspect of it, and all these kind of, because a lot of times school for kids and whatever, reaching out because they're trying to find folks to come, and I found there's a problem there. I mean, a lot of times they don't pick the right folks,
Right.
in many ways. But the idea was to put together a speakers bureau. In fact, I was going to talk to you about that.
All right.
And see whether we not be able to put that listing. And then the idea is to use this vehicle to communicate to the public, whether it be at a church, you know what I mean, anywhere there might be folks, especially seniors for that matter, who are military but no one knows. But reach out to the churches and this, that, and the other, and let them know that we got vets, you got an organization, and we got folks that would like to speak on Veterans Day. And if the minister will allow these folks to speak at the church, guess what? Then all of a sudden they're going to want to get involved, and then the next thing you know,
Both of us could go.
yeah, we have very much so. See, but we will have a speakers bureau. We're going to put that speakers bureau. That's going to be another effort that I'm going to try to get you to do, if you will.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does sound right because we have our own perceptions too
Right.
of how we're perceived by the public as
right.
far as veteran status.
Yes.
And one of the things we've discussed at length in our meetings is the fact that whenever there's a Veterans Day, a Memorial Day, et cetera, they interview veterans on TV.
Right.
And unfortunately, you never see veterans, or I'll just say rarely see veterans of color. And when we appear at different places, a lot of people say, well, we've never heard of you. When we started marching in the Veterans Day Parade, we had people coming to us saying they never heard of us, and where did you come from, not knowing that we've been around for quite a while. And it's just the awareness. We can raise the awareness so that people understand that not only are we veterans now, but we've been involved in every single conflict that the country has
very
had
much so,
since
yeah.
before we were a country.
Yeah.
We like to change that perception as well.
Well, that's why I wear my gear. I wear the gear. I know you got your NAVET gear on aspect of it, but we're all veterans. You know what I mean? And I wear mine purposely because a lot of times people will just come up to you automatically and say thanks for serving. And that's a good icebreaker.
When Truman got in, I think that's when things really started moving forward too.
Yeah. Well, see, actually, the guy who started the whole deal was President Lincoln.
Okay.
Lincoln started the whole deal. And then actually, they had the war between the states aspect of it. That was about money, but Lincoln, as part of his platform for running, he talked about the idea of just getting rid of slavery. You see, but unfortunately, they got kind of wild there, and then they blew him away, and then all of a sudden he was gone for a while. But actually, he allowed. In fact, as far as I'm concerned, he was the guy that was what do you call it, integrated integrated the military. I mean, allowed everybody that was here to join, and join, and at the same time, citizenize everybody at the same time. And then came up with the Emancipation Proclamation. And a lot of people don't understand the tie-up between that. because there was this division between the North and the South aspect of it. We could have been either the Confederacy flag or the U.S. flag, and it just so happened the U.S. flag won. So he just basically said, "Okay, fine, I'm going to make everybody under the same flag." So he basically Americanized or citizenized everybody at the same time, not only just blacks, but everybody. He did the deal, but that's where he was going with it. When people talked to him about the peace, but then actually, he was a very progressive kind of a guy, kind of ahead of his time to a certain. He was a lawyer, he was just kind of knocking on doors, and he just so happened to have gotten elected. And if one wants to get a good background on that, Spielberg did a good movie about it. It was called Glory, the movie Glory. The movie Glory was a real good movie. And it kind of laid that whole peace out aspect of it. And so it's unfortunate we don't have that in our educational system because, again, too, that was that conflict that we had, and folks just did not want to put that kind of stuff on the tube, see? And I bring that up because it still is a discussion around the deal because sometimes we still dealing with that issue of reparation. But reparation, i.e., folks are saying, well, gee, and the slavery deal was still, hey, gee whiz, these are the things that happened in the country from a historical standpoint. This was a participation of slaves during that time and all the conflict and whatever. And but then when you got to the Lincoln era, it wasn't about reparation. It was 40 acres and a mule, because that's basically how military folks got paid. I mean, and the officers in the military during that particular time were people who had means. So that's why they were able to identify themselves as colonels and generals and things of that nature, because they paid the bill with the 40 acres and a mule. That's what that happens on. But everybody had it. But then Lincoln basically gave it to the slaves who joined the military at the same time. But then when he got shot and the Democrat took over, basically Confederacy took over, they basically repealed all of that stuff. He just repealed it all, and again, it's still on the table. It's on the table more today than it was before, and so my position has always been that you just focus on what's real, who fought in the war during that particular time. I'm not looking at the race piece. I'm looking at who fought in the war, and he was a president of these United States. And today now it's kind of interesting how they said that these basically was formed under the definition of the Klan. Mm-hmm. See, and then the Republican was for doing the anti-slavery aspect of it. Now kind of the mindset is kind of flipped around a little bit, but it's coming around. It's just that we just need to just teach. It needs to be in the classroom and have the debates and talk. Cause there are all kinds of versions. You can find just as many versions saying, "Oh no, it didn't happen that way." In fact, I don't even know who Lincoln was. That type of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, as long as you bring it up, people talk about it. So it just so happened I was able to get part of that because I was in the military, and I wanted to find out where my roots were. And, the Smedley Butlers of the world and all that kind of stuff. In the Marine Corps, you almost really had to know your history in the Marine Corps, and all of a sudden it gets instilled in you, and race. What are you talking about? I'm a Marine. And then from that day forward, I haven't changed. I'm just a good old hard-nosed gunny. But anyway, I just thought I'd share that to begin with. We'll talk a little bit about that, and then Richard, we've been doing shows together. He's been around for quite some time, and we talk about a lot of goodies, don't we, Rich?
The veterans, Korean veterans.
Yes.
That we went down to.
Yes.
Denny's restaurant.
Yes.
Wilsonville.
Right.
And that's the last one.
That's right. That's the last organization. Right.
And I've got to say, I know that it'd be nice to go to every one of them.
Yes.
But
right.
I remember it was raining. It was difficult.
Yes.
It was cold.
Yes, it was. Yes,
and it was a long way.
Yes, it was.
So maybe we could still try to go.
Yes. Well, we had him on. You had him on the show. And then I had him on the show too. Yeah, we've had him.
He was a DMZ guy.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He guarded the DMZ, and he said it was just crazy there because the guys on the other side were always trying to give him problems.
Yep. And then we met Koreans, from South Koreans. And in fact, one of the oldest vets that's left in that organization was a Korean. We took photos of him. And in fact, we're gonna probably interview him again. We're gonna interview him. And then he had relatives. He had twin relatives. Remember the two twin relatives?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had some relatives that were Korean. In fact, they just happened to have been an African American. But the bottom line, they married Koreans during that particular time. And in fact, one of them is the president now. Yeah, the newly installed president, who happens to be someone that we know. And that was a fun deal too, because when we went down there again, same thing. You get to meet people.
Right.
And that gentleman by the name of Van Humerson. And
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Van Humerson, who was
Big political name.
yeah, he was a former DA of Portland, of Multnomah County. He was very well known, and whatever he was a Marine, and he was a president at the time. And you know, we're sitting in there, Richard and I sitting at the table, and all of a sudden he just recognized me. He said, Bruce, who is this? I didn't know what he was talking about. And then all of a sudden he reminded me. I said, you know, how the mind gets up. And then it's Van Humerson, and then all of a sudden there he is. You know, there he was wearing his shirt with his ribbons, right? His ribbons and everything. And you could tell he was right there. But it was a beautiful place, and a lot of folks that were there, from all over the state.
Yeah.
And I knew some folks who were in transportation at ODOT, Oregon Department of Transportation. They were there, and and then the family members were there. It was just a beautiful piece. And so
He's from Vietnam. He was in Vietnam.
Vietnam.
So he got all the attention
Yep.
at the Korean War.
Yep, he sure did.
Veterans.
He sure did, big time. So that was a good
He got
deal.
the attention.
That was a good deal. Well, look, any other thing? Okay, well, let's get that address again. And when do you guys meet?
So we meet every third Thursday of the month.
Okay.
The meeting starts at 6 o'clock, goes from 6 o'clock to 8.
Okay.
So normally what we do, we have food from 6 to 6:30. Chance for people to get together, break some bread, and just relax and talk to each other. And then we start the meeting at 6:30.
Okay.
And it goes to 8 o'clock.
Okay.
And it's very informal. We're not trying to sell you anything. We just basically want to let you know what we're doing down in the office on the VA side, let you know some of the upcoming community events that we're going to be participating in, and then also find out if there's anything that you would like, you as a member would like to have us partner with you on.
Yeah.
Sometimes our members come up with some excellent ideas about different things that we can participate in.
Well, the ones I want to yell out loud and clear to those veterans that are out there, your benefits.
Yes.
Those benefits. And then, like I said, I keep mentioning that back. $20 million that they were able to put together, the paperwork, and the veterans are enjoying. And a lot of that money was spent right here in Oregon.
Yeah, so we're at 100 Southwest Main, just like all the other veteran agencies.
Okay.
Second floor.
Yes.
Come up, go
Is
through
that where
security.
you are?
Yes, that's where we are.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, come up, go through security, just like
It's the hardest place to park, I can imagine.
and I'm glad you brought that up, because it's another point that we're annoyed about. Suddenly, they have no handicap parking
Wow.
on that entire block.
Wow.
When you have your clientele being primarily disabled veterans,
That's
and
who comes there.
they have to find somewhere to park
Wow.
and then make their way over to your.
When did they do this? When did they do
This
that?
happened within. The mayor had his state of the city address. It happened the same week as the state of the city address.
Did the mayor do this? Will
No.
do this?
Matter of fact, I started doing some investigating because we're going to see if we can get that problem solved.
Yes, right.
And it turns out the Portland Bureau of Transportation took away the police department parking spaces on one side of their building and gave them the only available parking on that one street in front of our building.
Well, the mayor did that. He had to sign off.
Well, okay, so
He's the mayor.
I don't know how. I don't know.
Well,
I was told who does that. So basically, I'm going to go through my chain through the VA,
Right.
and also work with the mayor's office. I did ask the mayor, and I did ask the
What did he
the
say?
chief. The mayor said he didn't know anything about it, but the chief of that particular precinct, he told me what happened was their parking spaces were reassigned, and then they were given the ones that were across the street. So keep in mind, on that entire block where the VA services are, one street, on Main Street, there's no parking because it's
That's insulting.
the transit, the buses, etc.
right.
On the
Yeah.
opposite building, opposite side of the building, same thing, buses are going by. So then the other side where the post office is, the post office already took all of those public spaces. So we only had one side of the building that was in between. It was on Second.
Right.
On Second.
Right.
And we only had that one side with 4 spaces where people could park. And they weren't even handicap spaces, they were just parking spaces.
Right.
And if you got lucky, you could find a space.
That's
So
insulting.
suddenly those are gone. So with the construction we have going downtown, they've also taken away the other public spaces on 2nd Street and also the parking spaces on Salmon Street. So there's only one street that's within a block where people can park.
Wow.
So there's a high demand for those spaces.
Wow.
Right.
So
Boy,
it's not a good situation, that we're going to see if we can try to get that taken care of.
Well, that's a job for Richard and I. Now we gotta talk political a little bit.
We can raise the
Because
awareness.
we got an
We appreciate
issue.
any help you
Oh,
guys can
very
give.
much so. We can talk about that whole piece because
Yeah,
we
'cause-
do have an election coming up. See?
Okay, 'cause
And
even
we're
our
not gonna get you
volunteers-
guys in that political aspect
Okay.
of it. We're going to take a real quick short break. Just a real quick short. Oh, gee, we forgot. I forgot something. We forgot this Good in the Hood activity thing.
Yes.
Okay, sorry about that. Why don't we just hold off from that there? Sorry about that. Go on and share with them about but your participation in the Good in the Hood. And you got some dates here, right?
Yes. Well, the dates are on
Just a
the letter
write-up.
right
This is
here.
just a
Yeah, there you
write-up.
go.
Yeah, so basically, we participate in the Good in the Hood parade
Right.
every year, and also we have a booth there.
Right.
This year, we were approached by their committee to see if we can help them stage the parade piece.
Right.
Because they were having a little bit of difficulty, and they thought, well, maybe these gentlemen who are used to taking command and giving orders, etc., can help us keep our parade orderly.
Mm-hmm.
So our contribution to the Good in the Hood parade is we're going to have a team of volunteers that are going to help with the staging of the parade, make sure everybody moves out on time, every float goes out, the walkers,
yeah.
etc. So we're going to be doing that with them. And of course, we're going to be in the parade.
Right.
So we're going to have the color guard, the honor guard, and then we're going to have NAVETs in the parade, and then everyone will follow
Hey,
us.
I'm gonna be in that piece too. I got that piece. I'm gonna talk to Richard a little bit about that part.
Okay,
I'm
so-
gonna be in the parade aspect of it, and was that?
Yeah, so you would be that.
Really
yeah.
that much time left.
Yeah, just got a little. We just got a little. Yeah, we're just gonna throw that in real quick. There's about 16 minutes left.
Okay,
Right.
cool.
Okay,
So
so-
before we take a break, I'd ask your patience on one thing. I just want to say hello to my wife.
Okay, all
We're
right.
coming up on our 40-year anniversary in
Oh,
July.
happy! Oh, gee whiz!
Yeah, so
hey,
we've been
okay,
together
man.
for 45 years.
Happy
so
anniversary.
We'll say hello to my wife,
Yes,
Nita.
that's right. I can
And also
understand
just mention my daughter, Nakia, my daughter, Ebony, and my granddaughter, Haley.
okay.
Just so
Okay.
mention them all. And my goddaughter, Satin.
All right.
All right.
Let's get that down. Well, okay, but
That's
before we
everybody.
forget this on this Good in the Hood piece, what are the dates of the parade, and how can people get involved? What
Okay,
are some
so
of the activities?
The Good in the Hood Parade, that is going to be June 22nd and 23rd. Saturday, June 22nd,
Okay.
and Sunday, June 23rd. And basically, you can get involved by contacting either the Good in the Hood Committee directly or contacting our office at our downtown office, the 503-412-4159.
Okay.
Because we are looking for volunteers and we're still looking for parade participants.
Okay, and people can drive cars in there if
Yes.
they want to.
Yes, as a
And I
matter
think
of
there's
fact,
the fees, but they can like you said,
Right,
they can
they
call
can
up
do
the Good
that.
in the Hood folks. What is their phone number? You got a phone number?
So
there?
I don't have their phone number, so I do apologize to Denise for not having that here.
Okay, all
But
right.
while we're on it, we do have upcoming events. So every year, NAVES does participate in the Memorial Day celebration over at Willamette National Cemetery.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going to be on Monday, May 27th, and basically just be there at 9 o'clock. And it's an excellent celebration, and they're giving honor to the people who have served the country
Right, right,
and
right.
made their sacrifices.
Coming to Willamette.
Yes, at Willamette. So Monday, May 22nd at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And then after the then we have the Good in the Hood, and then from there we have another celebration called the Peace in the Park, where NAVES is going to have a table and reach out to the public. So just the reason I want to bring this up because we participate and we reach out to the community
Good.
any way that we can.
Good.
So
Good.
basically, either come to speak, come to help organize or plan an event, and execute, or just maybe just be there, show our support.
Good. Good.
All right.
Good. Well, that's a good idea. Good. Well, that's why we have you, right, Rich? We want to make sure that's community across the board. You know what I mean? That's across the board. And we want to say thanks for supporting vets and recognizing vets and And the fact that you guys are helping them out with that benefit, that's a heavy piece, because a lot of times before this homeless thing really hit hard. It hit hard. And all due respect, there was no one yelling out for the vets. You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, there was this gunny that I knew was started knocking on some doors. You know what I'm saying? And then all of a sudden, the VA had to get up too, because the VA is there. And as you know, we don't have any tents or anything like that. You go down to the VA, you don't see a whole bunch of butts, cigarette butts, people just doing all kinds of urinating and stuff like that on that property. Right. When they go through that gate, they straighten up. If they were a vet, they knew they had that background and they had that training, and so that's an asset.
Right.
And you notice you don't see any vets. You don't see all these placards they used to have. Remember the placards?
I remember.
Remember they had the placards, if you will, talking about give me $1, this, that, and the other routine. Well, again, that gunny was out there. I'd stop right on the freeway if necessary. Say, you got to show me some ID. And then no ID. I said, well, look, I know you need help. Hey, come on, get in the car. I'll drop you off over here. I'll get the police to come out and pick you up and take you to a place, a shelter, or whatever. But you don't need to be doing this and using the brand. You know, that's a very, very, very important piece aspect of it. So again, like I said, I was having some problems with how the charge aspect of it. And another area we're going to talk about is that I ran the last time around for the county, and I did that purposely because I wanted them to know what the vets was all about. And one of the things I was doing over there was that I was taking that 3 minutes for the public to be in, and I was asking them to all stand up and cite the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. They used to do that at one point in time. They pulled back. So I just go right on up there and do my 3 minutes and ask everybody to stand. And for those who didn't stand, I tell them to dismiss themselves and they can come back in when they get through. But my point is that I'm gone, and that's going to be something I'm going to talk with you about that, to see if we can get, again, recognition, see if we can get some folks, some vets, if you will, to go there. And it's just once a week. You know, they can put their garb on, and the nav vests and whatever. And got to give credit to Loretta Smith. When she was commissioner over there, she recognized nav vets.
Yes,
and
she did a
worked with her, but
proclamation.
she did. I remember that proclamation piece aspect of it. But again, she didn't participate or whatever, in terms of. But I think now is the time to do that. We're going to get the veterans to be recognized. They got one of the largest organizations there. But in terms of whether or not they're doing with that justice and benefits, I have problems, because I did vet them, and they had some problems. They're not doing the job as well as I think that they should be doing. So okay. So on that particular note, let's take a little quickie break, and then we're going to let Napoleon go, and then we're going to come right back and make a couple of announcements about a couple of things in the paper. Is that okay? Can we do that, folks? Can we do that? Okay. We'll just good.
You are watching Oregon Voters Digest. This program can be seen again on these channels on these dates and times. Tell a friend.
Folks, again, I'm Bruce Broussard, and you got Richard Carpenter here, and we're both talking about, we just got through talking about vets for that day and aspect of it, and we thought maybe we'd just go on and spend a couple of minutes and talk about some of the local stuff. that
Okay.
we might be able to bring up, if you will, because there's some very important things that are coming up, if you will.
Okay.
Okay. And first off, you say we want to go bring that other piece
I
about.
just wanted to remind them, I know we talked about it at the beginning of the program. Missing in America program is about the veterans whose remains are still in funeral homes, even down in the state of Oregon. And I don't think we can even get permission to get those yet. But they want to do a proper burial and have veterans, play taps and do the formal things that those veterans deserve. And so I hope you can catch it I think should be on Memorial Day, about 25-minute tape and about a 7-minute tape. And I hope they play it more than once.
Now, where's that coming from? OPB or something like that?
No,
Or
right?
probably
No,
there?
we recorded that. We're playing it right out of here.
Oh, is that right? Okay.
I've been told
Independent
by,
IPO. It's going to be IPO. Is this going to be an IPO presentation?
No, it's all by itself on Memorial Day.
On Memorial Day.
Just
Okay,
those
okay.
2 short clips
On Memorial
that are
Day.
very good. They're very good.
Okay, what time is that going to be on?
I wish I knew.
Okay, maybe we can get those back. Get that back before, let's say, next Sunday.
Okay.
We might be, follow
All right,
up on
I'll
that
try to
piece.
do that.
Yeah. And I guess from a burial standpoint, the VA is always creating all kinds of positive things as far as service to vets. As far as getting your plot, if you want to get cremated or whatever. I mean, they've got a program up there. It's as if a person passed away, they will actually. There's no cost to the vets.
Right.
There's no cost to the vets at Willamette, and I went through that process with my son. My son is at Willamette, and but the bottom line is that the crematorium is there. It's beautiful, and the grounds are always kept well.
Oh yeah, it's
all
nice.
kept well, and in fact, even family members could be buried with their husband. They got a program that if the husband passes away, and then the wife passes away, she can be buried with him.
My wife is there.
Your wife is there right now, right?
She's up there on
Good.
Willamette.
Okay, so if
Cemetery.
anything, you already planned that, right?
Yeah,
so to
yeah,
speak.
that's all
See, and so I would say that
taken care of.
Right. So I would say to veterans, hey, take the time. You can just call up the cemetery, call up the military cemetery, and at Willamette. Just
Okay.
call up any VA or whatever, and say, hey, look here, give me the number. And in fact, I think I have that here somewhere. But the idea is give them a call, and all you do is your DD 214.
You got to get involved.
Yeah,
you have to
gotta
do
get involved.
paperwork. and
You got to do
everything.
some paperwork on that piece, but it's there.
Right.
It's the whole. This is another benefit, if you will, and I thought I had it right here, but I had a number. But just call that. Call. Let's see. Burial. Where is that burial deal? I don't think I had. I thought I had it here somewhere. Gee whiz. I thought I had that.
Well, you probably, I guess, even now, you have to look up on the computer for phone numbers.
Right.
So that'd be Willamette National Cemetery.
Yeah,
That's
just look at
what
that. And then just call that number.
I just
and then
assume that,
and they'll put the package together for you.
Okay.
Or better yet, you can drive down there. You can drive down there. They've got an office. They'll actually put the packet together for you.
Okay.
And that
okay.
can be part and parcel of your will, anything. It's a heck of a deal.
Okay.
And they have ceremonies that are taken care of, if you will, when everything happens, if you
Right.
will. And they've got color guards. It's a very formal deal. And they've got color guards for each respective service.
Okay.
So if they pass away as a Navy person, they got a Navy color guard that will be part of the services, and a Navy officer or enlisted person that will preside.
Right.
So that's a very interesting aspect of it. And so please take advantage. That's a benefit to veterans. And all you have to do is start off with your DD 214.
Yeah.
You start off with
That's right.
DD 214. Very important, that DD 214. It's almost like you, and this is it's almost like you. What would I call that?
Social Security number.
Social Security
everything.
number. Yeah.
Birth certificate.
Yeah.
Everything.
But it's a very valuable tool.
Oh yes.
You know, and that DD 214 and if you've lost your DD 214, and if your husband is husband or wife or whatever is older, and you finally figured out they were a veteran, and you're looking for benefits and whatever, call up the VA. Call up the VA. Or call up NAVVETS. You can give NAVVETS a call. Give them a call. And they'll follow up on it.
Yeah,
Because it's
that's
about
right.
benefits anyway. And then they'll do the research and try to find out just what happened to your DD-214. Because you can get them. It's just there's a process involved. And in fact, NAVVET could easily just find out where it is and do the research and make sure you're getting that DD-214.
Yeah,
Because you got to
right.
have because you're going to have to have certain material with you to be able to do that. But that organization would be more than glad, I'm sure they would, to find that for you.
You got to have that to get started.
You gotta,
If you don't-
that's right, and that's a very, very important piece, the DD-214. And if
Right.
you haven't gotten it yet, like I said, give NAVVET a call. You can call them at 503-412-4159. 503-412-4159. And in fact, it would help NAVVET if you had that DD-214 before you reach out or go to their office looking for your services. That's a very important piece, because otherwise they have to go through the process, and that's time. And this way, that cuts out a whole bunch of the time aspect of it. And so consequently, if you call them up, they'll give you the process, and there is a process
Right.
that one can do that and get that DD-214. Therefore, you have it in your hand, and when you call them, you set up an appointment, and you go down there and see them and do eyeball-to-eyeball aspect of it.
Okay.
And take advantage of those services. They're very, very important. And you got to get up and make it happen. And don't be so proud that hey, look, I don't want to go down there and stand in line or sit down and wait, whatever. Those services, you've earned those services. You've earned the right. You've earned the right. You served your country in that particular way. Okay? Very, very important.
There's
So with that,
people out there that have been veterans that
yes,
just don't
know. Okay.
move.
Well, we're at that point now, folks. We've had, I think it was a good show. I want to thank NAVVET for being a part of the program with us. And Rich, it's always a pleasure with you. Okay? We'll see you
Right.
next week. Okay?
Well,
For another interesting show. Take care, folks. Have a
Okay.
good one. Well, that was a good show. Napoleon did a good job.